Welcome to the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James, a podcast dedicating to adding context and commentary to the important issues here in St. Albans, West Virginia. In each episode, we'll sit down with St. Albans Mayor Scott James and discuss relevant and important topics related to our city and, of course, highlight upcoming events here in town. I'm your co-host, Anthony Romeo, and we do hope this inside look at our city government helps you feel more engaged with your community. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and each episode is available on the city's website here at stalbanswv.com/podcast. With that said, let's welcome our host, the Honorable Mayor Scott James. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. And today we were out and about dealing with several things, tearing down buildings and whatever.
Beautiful day.
Gorgeous day. Yeah.
And it's springtime. So, but glad to have you aboard again. But this month we've got in the studio with us St. Albans Parks and Recreation Program Coordinator, Scott Tweedy. How are you, my friend?
Doing real well. Busy like everybody, but glad to be in here and talk about some upcoming events.
I tell you what, man, it's a busy spring so far for all the departments. I mean, parks, public works, building department, and it's a beautiful time outside. But I tell you, we've got a lot to get to. We'll take a quick break here in a little bit, but we're going to get some topics out of the way, and we'll come back and get a lot of the events, recap of the events, and hit some upcoming events with parks and what parks has got going on too. So. But Mr. Mayor, we recently had the lay of the levee. Can you walk us through that process?
Well, what it is every year each community or each city has to do what they call lay the levee through the state auditor's office, and they just approve the levy that was passed, and that's what we did.
Cool, good deal. And then, I saw in the agendas and the minutes, the zoning code was recently approved and ready for adoption, or it has been adopted?
I think we have one more vote to adopt it. It will be adopted. And what people got to realize is some of those zoning codes were like 40, 50 years old. Right? And what we're trying to end is people that do not respect their neighbors.
Sure.
All right. They park in their yard. They got a bunch of junk in their front yard or whatever. And we're not going to put up with it in St. Albans. We're beautifying St. Albans. We've torn down how many structures now?
Yeah.
About 30.
Yep.
And we want to make St. Albans as welcoming to everybody as possible.
And I agree with you. That kind of begins down into the ordinances and the code and everything else to adhere the current progression of things and the current initiatives as well, I think.
It does.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that I picked up on your radio appearance today, as well as in the agendas and minutes, there was something on there about the problem alarm ordinance, about some of the businesses and everything else that have recurring alarms that are running our first responders ragged.
Yes, they truly are. Sometimes 3 to 5 times a week their alarm goes off and there's no need for it.
Right.
And what they need to do is fix their alarms. We're not talking about when the power goes off or something like that. But under normal circumstances, like I said, I mean, there's sometimes 3 to 5 times we go to a structure, all right, or a business whose alarm system doesn't work well, and it just, it creates wear and tear on our vehicles.
Absolutely.
Right, and it takes away from our first responders from doing what they're supposed to do.
So let me ask you this. Will there be any type of a penalty or a reconciliation type thing? How does that kind of work with the problem alarms that will actually start happening, and how do you enforce such a thing?
Well, it does, and we have to depend on the police and the fire department to let us know what's going on. At that point, we'll send out a letter. We'll try to work with people, but people have to work with us.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And, we cannot continue to stretch our first responders and our equipment the way that we are on some of these situations.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, they're stressed enough as far as the job that they do.
Yes.
And the equipment that they use day in and day out, and then on top of this. So I think it'll help out. But, You mentioned earlier when we came on the progress that's being made. I think we're up to, 30 structures now?
I believe 30 structures, yes.
The most recent that we all talked about when we came in was the 500 Washington Street that just, it was sad to see it go, but progress has to happen.
Well, it does, and you hate to see history torn down, but the owners of the property have to upkeep the property, because if they don't, it becomes unsafe. It lowers property values in the neighborhood. All right, so that piece of property was actually donated to us.
Yeah.
So they tore it down yesterday, took away a lot of the rubble. Took some today, and they'll finish up probably tomorrow or the next day, removing all the rubble that was there. And, Anthony, I went over, somebody called me, you did, and said, do you want to come over and do an interview with Channel 13? And I said, well, sure, I'll come over. And when I got over there, Rodney Loftus Jr. said, man, you want to work this big old excavator? And I said, well, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. He said, I'll guide you. And I got about 3 or 4 swipes on that building to take down.
You look like a pro.
Yeah. I mean, Becky looked at me. I sent her a picture of it and said, well, when you're done being mayor, you got a second career now.
As a walk-on excavator operator. Huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's all good news. I mean, it looks like a clean slate with all of our dilapidated properties. I mean, as they're torn down, it's like a clean slate.
Yes.
You can figure out what you need to put there to better the community, but, I think it's all in the right name of progress as well.
The bottom line is, it's up to council what we do with the properties that we own.
Absolutely.
Okay. The only time I vote is if there's a tie, and I've only had to do it one time. One of the properties, be it the one on Washington and Washington or wherever, I'd like to build some pickleball courts.
Oh, neat.
I've talked to STARTA, St. Albans Area Regional Development Authority.
Sure.
To possibly maybe talk about financing that, and then we pay them monthly. All right. But we've got to do that for our community.
Yeah, and that would fall under, would that fall under Parks?
Parks and Rec,
yeah. Okay, well, cool, good deal. So the hot topic here recently is the junior high.
Yes.
That's it.
We got a final cost yesterday.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Drum roll?
It's 1.185 million plus a little bit.
Man.
And we got a good deal on it, to be honest with you, because at one point the abatement company said it would be $1 million just for them.
Yeah.
We told them we're not going to pay that.
Right.
And they came back, him and Rodney Loftus Jr., who's going to tear the building down. They reduced it down to $1.185 million. We've already approved through council $500,000, so we have to go back and talk about another $685,000 through the ARPA funds.
Okay.
We have them.
Yeah, that's on the books.
And so we might have to do a little bit of maneuvering there, but hopefully within about a month and a half, that building starts coming down.
Wow, what a day that'll be.
That'd be fantastic.
Bittersweet,
man.
but a day.
And I told Rodney, I said, now when we tear that junior high down, I want to be in the seat of that excavator.
First swing.
Yes, sir.
That's part of the deal, right?
Yep, that's part of the deal.
Well, I hope I'm sure he'll hold to that deal. He's a stand-up guy. But, out of that bittersweet moment, we've had a very important day, an historic day, this past Saturday when they unveiled the contents of that time capsule that was there on the corner for the Masonic Lodge. And a lot of that information and artifact were donated to the city recently.
They donated the whole contents to it.
That's amazing.
And we're going to display it over at City Hall in our display case out in the hallway. But we've got to get the newspaper, 1923 newspaper, Valley News. Mm-hmm. It was printed in St. Albans, I think twice a month. You could get a subscription back then for $1 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And we want to get it in case so we protect it.
Sure.
We had a lot of information about the Washington Lodge 58, and I want to thank them for all that they've done and the donation to the city that they did with the contents of the time capsule. And so, we just got to move forward, and we're going to get everything situated and put it in a display case over at City Hall.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I was like a kid on Christmas morning.
Well, you look like that. I mean, it was like you were so engaged in pulling all these artifacts out of that box.
Yeah.
It was like you said, a kid at Christmas opening up, presents. So.
It was. We had outside of the information on the Washington Lodge, we had a list of St. Albans Independent District School Board. Mm-hmm. There was no Kanawha County School Board at that time.
Yep.
And if you look at the names on there, one of them was Weimer, one of them was Beyer. We've got streets named after these folks. Mm-hmm. All right, so they're part of our history. And we've got to continue. And then we had 3 coins. We had a 1913 dime, a 1916 dime, and a 1908 quarter. All right, all will be displayed over at City Hall.
Wow, under lock and key.
Yes, exactly.
What a day that was. It was a great turnout. That courtroom, the Desperate Lemon courtroom, was packed.
It was
shoulder
packed.
to shoulder.
Yep.
Got great coverage. So all in all, a great day and great afternoon.
But what was exciting was Weldon Pearson.
Oh my goodness!
The last principal at St. Albans Junior High was over there.
Well, even Mr. I call him Mr. Fenimore. I've always called him Mr.
Pat
Fenimore.
Fenimore was over there. He was a teacher, longtime teacher over there.
Yeah.
I did my part of my student teaching under Mr. Fenimore, and I got up there and we were talking, and I said, "Well, I might have the only distinction in this room right now." I said, Weldon Pearson busted my tail in when I was in junior high at St. Albans Junior High. So, he claims he straightened me out and got me where I am today.
Yeah, I mean, I remember our day. Well, Anthony and I went there, and it was Pearson and Mike Compton's dad, Mr. Compton. Now, Scott,
Jimmy Compton.
Did you go to St. Albans Junior High?
Yeah.
When were you there? Don't tell your age now.
Wow, I would have been there 85 to... 84, 85, 86, I believe.
Wow.
Silver Eagles, baby.
Yeah. I mean, they'll always fly. They'll always soar.
Yeah. When I was there, Frank Gillespie was principal and Weldon Pearson was the vice principal.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we had Anthony and I did not to drop a name, but we did a Small Town Stories podcast episode with some former teachers of St. Albans Junior High.
Very
telling
cool.
Their story. It was really cool. But, I mean, we'll keep everybody up to date on the progress moving forward on the St. Albans Junior High. One last thing that we want to say and kind of touch on is the sidewalk project going on Canal Terrace. I mean, they're getting closer and closer to that, what is it? It's beyond Beyer Street, right?
No, it just goes from Washington to Beyer.
Washington to Beyer.
And this is one of the aggravations I have as mayor. This is a streetscape project that was passed originally back in 2012 or 13.
Sure.
And originally we were supposed to get sidewalks from Park Street up to McKinley or close to McKinley. And due to the fact that they waited 10 or 11 years to give us the go-ahead to proceed, all right, we're going to get new sidewalks between South Washington and Beyer Street, which is an improvement. But we've got to do more.
Right. And keep in mind, it's a county project. It's
state project.
Or state project.
Yes.
So when you hear complaints about why blah, 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 no.
Anthony,
don't come our way.
I had a guy send me a message on Messenger complaining about it. And I just looked at him. I said, sometimes progress isn't convenient.
Absolutely.
I said, I go around. I don't drive up there and wait, whatever. And he got a little annoyed, but that's okay. Progress is not convenient all the time.
You're absolutely right.
And we're going to start paving roads here soon.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, and we've spent more money under my tenure from 2017 to this year on paving than any other administration's ever done.
Absolutely, and the paving list is on the city's website.
Yeah, they've got to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The Public Works Committee.
Yeah.
And we've got bids out, and so people are coming back with their bids, and then we'll move forward with that.
Awesome. Sounds good. And keep in mind, the council meetings are first and third Mondays of the month at 6:30. Council chambers at 51 6th Avenue. above the fire station. I
Yes.
have it still marked as the police station, so that tells me I need to update my notes too. But yeah, first and third Mondays of the month there at 6:30. But if you want to check out the agendas and minutes online, they're located on stalbanswv.com. You'll have, pretty much complete. I think there's like 3 or 4 years worth of agendas and minutes over there. So,
Yeah.
it's
I
like
mean,
an
there's a
archive.
bunch of them. And, one thing I want to tell people, if you got a complaint, call my office. I'll meet with you if it's reasonable.
Yeah.
All right. Don't go to social media and spread mistruths or
Right.
things that you're not for sure you're talking about. And, we'll look at this situation if it's under our concern. Like there's a lady that has posted a couple times on some posts on my mayor page, we need sidewalks to Auburn Elementary. They got to walk in the street. Well, I'm going to get John Boy. We're going to go over and look at it. But you know what? It's been like that for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take a look at it. But instead of going on social media lambasting the city, call me, man. I'll meet with you.
Well, and one thing that, it's always been admirable, you have an open door policy.
I do.
And, anybody within reason and, can come in and say, Mr. Mayor, I've got an issue I'd like you to hear about.
Yeah, if you tell me that there's Martians that are invading your house, I probably won't meet with you.
I might try that.
Yeah, okay. But any reasonable request or concern.
Yeah.
And I thank people for their concerns because we don't have enough employees to pick up on everything.
Sure.
So if there is a problem somewhere with property, whatever it may be, I got one the other day from a gentleman about Edge Hill Drive and the road. It's like a scrub board, he said. And so I sent it to John Boy, and I said, we need to take a look at this.
Yeah.
So...
well, things are getting done, and
Yes,
that's the
they
most
are.
important.
They are.
So
Nobody can argue, Anthony, with the progress that St. Albans has made in the last 5+ years. It'd be 6 years come June 30th.
Totally agree. So congratulations on all that project, process and progress. But with that said, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. We're going to go through some event recaps and talk about some upcoming events. We'll be right back on the City of St. Albans official podcast.
Mayor Scott James here, inviting everyone to come visit St. Albans, West Virginia's best kept secret, but the secret's getting out.
St. Albans parks offer a wide range of activities, including miles of hiking and biking trails, playgrounds, sports fields, and a swimming pool. Plus, St. Albans is known for its water activities. Whether it's kayaking the Coal River or boating on the Kanawha, visit St. Albans, West Virginia's best-kept secret.
And we're back. We're back on the City of St. Albans official podcast. In our studio this month, we've got the Honorable Mayor Scott James and, of course, our special guest, St. Albans Parks and Rec Program Coordinator Scott Tweedy. We've got some events to go through. This past weekend and a few more previous, we had a back-to-back Easter extravaganza or egg extravaganza. You see where I went there?
Yeah, I like that.
That's pretty cool. But talk about the success of these egg hunts.
Both of them were very successful. Last year was the first year that we did the teenage hunt, and we really didn't know what to expect. I think we hid 500 eggs that time, which was obviously not enough when I think about 600 people showed up.
Boy, he caught you off guard.
Yeah, a little bit. But this year we had about 3,000 eggs and probably had more. I was probably close to 700, 800 people up there Friday night.
Wow, that's good.
And we added to it. We had live music. We had some food up there, kids' games, face painting, which led all into the Easter egg hunt at nighttime when it got dark. And then the teenagers got their flashlights out, and they went out on the big field and hunted for eggs, and everybody had a good time.
So did you find all the eggs, or will some of the teams be crunching?
Some might get ran over by a lawnmower.
Okay. Yeah.
We have to call Kevin and say, look out.
Cutting the ball field.
Egg salad in left field.
But no, it was, we were pleased, and we've already talked about doing some even add-ons next year for it.
Very good.
But it's a good thing for the teenagers. And I know I've talked to you too. I think we're going to plan something towards the end of June, like a night for teenagers up in the park.
Very cool.
So that will be another thing that because that's one thing that I think doesn't get hit a lot as a teenagers.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like our focus a little bit. So that's where it's at. And then the next day, the 8th, was the kids' Easter egg hunt, and that's always a good one. We've had all kinds of people. I know the mayor was up there. It was a good time. Easter Bunny was both days and gave away a bunch of stuff, eggs. So
2 bikes?
2 bikes were given out. So yeah. And
awesome.
They finally picked them up today.
Well, good.
Only about a week and a half left.
On a beautiful day, they've got some bike time.
Yeah.
That's great.
So.
But, with that, I mean, speaking of City Park, last weekend it opened, but it opened with a bang because there was the nature hike up there.
Yes.
Everybody was well attended.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor was there. You were there. No, you were out.
No, I was out of town.
You were out of town.
Yeah.
Kevin was up there. A bunch of other folk. And I tell you, Debbie Keener puts on a great event up there. She does.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have Debbie in St. Albans.
Amen to that.
She's been a lifelong, St. Albans girl, and she was on our park committee, and then not on our park committee, but she's taken this, and this was the 9th year, and each year it's better and better.
Absolutely. So with that said, with the park opening in April 15, what are some of the new, things that people can expect up at the park, or any highlights you can kind of share with us?
Biggest thing up there is we've gotten a lot more playground equipment around the shelters, so that's always a good thing. The shelters are always, utilized. A lot of people are on the trails. Even in the wintertime, a lot of people come up there and do the walking trails and stuff. So, it's a popular place today. It was packed.
I bet.
Up there today.
It's such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
But the one thing that, I kind of go in chronological order with the upcoming events, and I wanted to touch on this one that's happening this weekend. It's the St. Albans Fall Y'all Festival Dog Bowl Tournament over there in Town Country Lanes in Nitro, and it goes to this great cause of the police department's K-9 unit. So from what I understand, there's still teams, so maybe you and the mayor can get on a bowling team and go support. Or do you bowl, Mr. Mayor?
It's been a long time. But
likewise.
Yeah, I do bowl. The problem is I have the sheriff's golf tournament that morning.
Oh, okay.
But they have 2 sessions this year.
Right,
1 o'clock
4.
and 4. So I could be over there for the 4 o'clock session.
There you go.
If Tweedy wants me to give him any lessons.
Oh, okay. But yeah, check that out. You might see some good bowling action over there. But but something we also touched on, and this affects the whole town, is the spring cleanup scheduled April 24th through May 5th.
Yes.
From what they did last year, ward by ward by ward, Monday's one ward, second Tuesday, and so on and so forth. So look forward to that. But we're going to swing back on the 29th here for the Kenny Sutton Landing launch party. Mm-hmm. Big doings down at Roadside Park.
Yeah, that's going to be a big to-do, and I think a good crowd. I know we had talked, and I mentioned to you last year about with the new dock being built and all that, we kind of want to do like a kickoff thing, and it just kind of tied in with Kenny being a big part of the fishing tournament and all that. So we decided that we're going to kick it up and do some live music, some food, some kid stuff, and we got 4 great local band or solo people and then a band. And then it's also going to be the people that were in the St. Albans Has Talent.
Yeah, don't forget that.
They're going to be over there performing, and there's 5 of those.
Very cool.
And then we'll be and there's a cornhole tournament that I think a buddy of Kenny's doing.
Okay.
So make plans to be over next Saturday. It should be a good one.
And there's going to be a sign unveiling.
Yes, there is. Kenny Sutton was a great proponent of St. Albans Parks and Rec, and he fought a long battle with cancer and is no longer with us. But we need to honor Kenny for the work that he has done on the fishing tournament and other Parks and Rec activities. And it's going to be a big day. I'm excited for it.
That's great. It's so far getting a lot of great coverage too, as far as the engagement on social. So it's going to be a big day over there on Roadside Park on the 29th. What was the time again? I didn't have it in my notes here.
The unveiling will be at 1:30 of the sign, and then the music will start at 2.
And then we'll go till about 5:30. I think you have St. Albans Got Talent that night, don't you?
Well, they're going to perform during the acts.
Okay.
So each person will perform a song, and then we'll move on. But yeah, the music starts at 2, and then it'll go like 2, 3, 4, 5 will be. I think Bread and Circus are playing at 5.
I think, yeah.
So it'll be somewhere between 2 and 6.
And it seems like they're all local.
They are,
which is crazy cool.
And a good thing about it was Kenny's boy Chris, who is now on our parks board. Mm-hmm. He was the one who I went to him and told him. I said, "You get all the music." So so he did, and I told him to try to keep it all local, and they're all local.
That's such a great resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to chime in on this.
Sure.
The music scene in St. Albans is exploding.
Totally agree.
You can go down on Old Main during the week and on weekends, and there's somebody playing at one of the local establishments. And soon, with this weather breaking, we're going to have music on Old Main again, which is ran by Chuck Hurst and a couple other people. But we've got some fantastic talent in this area. I mean, fantastic talent. And so, I wanted to plug in the arts over at the Albans Theater. We've got Children of Eden coming up, I think, starting this weekend.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so the arts is a big part of our economy here in St. Albans.
Yeah, I mean it's
and we want to build on it.
All the more reason to come and visit St. Albans.
Yes.
I mean, great events going on with the parks and recreation. You got, like you said, live music on a regular basis, and of course the arts. I mean, that's a win-win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were up in Washington D.C. About 3 weeks ago. The Municipal League, and I'm on the executive board. I'm secretary this year. Next year I'll be vice president. And the year after that I'll be president, which is quite an honor.
Absolutely.
But we talked to the NEA up there, the National Endowment of Arts. We met with them. And what I have figured out is as you build your arts program in your community, other businesses come into your community to be part of that. Mm-hmm. And so we're excited about that and looking at some options. We want to fix the Albans Theater up on the inside, the outside, and continue. Adam Bryan does a fantastic job down there.
He does. So, I was down at Main Street, and I'm going to put a bug in your ear, Mr. Mayor. I was down at Main Street, and I've got a bench down there, and I was looking behind where that bench is, and there's this wide open space in between Colonial Interiors and the Village Sampler.
Right.
I've always thought that'd be a great outdoor music venue.
It would be, but since we built the plaza there, that is because all the electric's hooked up now. What we're talking about doing down there, I know there's a business that would like to have the lower lot down there, all right, but and then maybe try to get another business come in on the upper lot.
Yeah.
But it's a great opportunity just to expand our music scene and everything.
I've always thought that'd be a perfect little, I would call it a cubby hole, really. But the acoustics are there, the incline for a nice seating area. I mean, just you can imagine what would it be like just to have a little music space there, in addition to the new plaza.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, some seating, dining. I mean,
draws more people here, and one other thing I want to talk about, Tony, is Scott's here. Kevin's our park superintendent. The employees up there, we've given them more resources since we came into office, and they do a fantastic job. And if there's anybody in this community that says there's never anything to do in St. Albans, get your head out of the sand.
Yep.
Because Scott and Kevin and all the employees do a fantastic job, and I wouldn't trade them for anything.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, they're always busting their butt getting stuff done and making our grounds look great and putting on stellar events.
Yes,
and
they are.
That's the draw.
And it's busy season now. Yeah. With this weather breaking, I mean, there's going to be something going on probably weekly or every other week here in St. Albans.
All hands on deck, especially for something that I always enjoy, the music and movie nights happening again in Roadside Park.
Yes.
First night is May 6th.
May the 6th. It's coming up.
I tell you, and you made me smile when you told me the movie.
Tweedy, are we going to try the Sandlot again?
No, we're actually doing the original Bad News Bears.
Okay.
With Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau. That's a good one.
That's a classic now.
But every time we tried to show the Sandlot, it rained.
I know. So, kind of.
That's like a streak.
Put that on the back burner.
So tell me about more of the music and movie nights this year, the first one kicking off.
Usually we do every second Saturday starting in the summer, but I think in May will be the first Saturday of May the 6th. But we're going to start at 6 o'clock, and we've got 2 or 3 music acts, followed by the Bad News Bears movie. We'll have some food over there, some kids' activities. I think we're going to try to give away, possibly give away some baseball ticket prizes.
Very good.
And some local vendors might be able to give away some stuff as prizes too. So should be a good time, but we're going to start at 6 o'clock. Movie, of course, will be at dark. Come on over and roadside.
And those go on throughout the summer on a regular
Yes, they
regular
will
basis.
Starting in June, it'll be the second Saturday of every month.
Yeah.
So, but we're doing the first Saturday in May.
Well, good deal. So, and all these can be found, of course, on the City of St. Albans Parks and Rec Facebook page.
Right.
But also the website.
Yes.
At saparkswv.com.
Absolutely.
So, and the one we all kicked around and keep kicking around, and one that's coming up that I'm excited for is Dragonpalooza. Big one.
Yes.
At City Park, May 20th.
Yes. Yeah, that was the one we originally was going to do October 1st, and I know me and Tony's done a lot of work on that with Trish and a few others. But hopefully the weather will hold this time. But May the 20th is the big one. And we've never done it in the park, so I'm kind of anxious to see how it plays out. But we got 9 bands, I believe, including Theater of Crew, which is a cover of Motley Crue, will be the headliner.
Very good.
All kinds of food vendor, non-food vendor, all kinds of kids' activities. We're going to park everybody at the high school, shuttle them up. So should be a good day.
Totally agree. I'm looking forward to it. And that's probably starting around noontime.
We'll start about noon and probably go to about 9.
Party all night.
Party all night.
Well,
till dawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
if it's happening outside, it's happening in St. Albans, West Virginia.
Absolutely. And of course, citywide yard sale coming up, happening in St. Albans. May 20th.
Yes.
Same day. So,
hey, let me tell you something. It brings a ton of people to our community. And not only do they spend money at the yard sales, but they hit our restaurants, our stores. It's a great economic boost for St. Albans.
So they can take the money they've made in the yard sale, come on up to Dragonpalooza.
Yes. And enjoy.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Hey, guys, this Dragonpalooza is going to be nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a fantastic event, and so we're excited about it.
But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting day, but, in all seriousness, the citywide yard sale is your chance to clean out your house, your garage, and all this other stuff that you've got. And I don't think you have to have a permit, right?
No, you do not have to have a permit for the citywide yard sale. It's always the third Saturday in May and the third Saturday in September.
Right.
All right. But one thing I do want to let people know is we do not take chemicals. We do not take paint unless it's dried up. So if you have some paint cans that got paint in it, put some kitty litter in there or some Stay Dry. It'll dry it up and we'll take it. Outside of that, we'll pretty much take anything.
That's great. And, of course, you can find more information on that on the city's website. And, of course, I think the publicworks.stalbanswv.com is that address. I remember. So, so that's coming up. But also one of our flagship events, Yak Fest, June 16th to 17th. Big news.
It's going to be awesome, man. This is our 5th annual. We missed 1 year, but we've got a great lineup of music. They can go to yakfestwv.com. If anybody wants to be a sponsor, all right, they can sign up there. If anybody wants to be a vendor, they can sign up there. I know we have the Davison brothers coming in. Usually it's on Friday night. This year it's on Saturday night. We got the Davison brothers coming. And it's going to be a fantastic weekend for St. Albans.
It's a big doings. I mean, Main Street is packed shoulder to shoulder those days.
Yeah, they are.
As it is always. But you can find all these events that we've got coming up here at various events and websites, excuse me, at stalbanswv.com/events for the main city's website and saparkswv.com for the St. Albans Parks and Rec. Guys, it's been a great episode. Scott, thank you so much for coming in and talking about parks and stuff like that.
Appreciate you having us.
Any closing remarks you want to kind of share with us?
Just hopefully the weather will hold next Saturday for Kenny's thing.
Me too.
Hope to
Me
see
too.
everybody
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. And
One other thing I want to say is the Yak Fest was built around the Torticole,
sure.
which is the largest flat water kayaking event in the country. And so you can go to Coal River Group, sign up if you want to do the 12-mile trip. So
That's a long trip if you think about
it is. It is.
A
It's
lot
a
of
good
sunburn.
time. Yeah, a lot of sunburn.
Yeah, so bring your sunscreen. Anthony, thank you so much, man, for our producer pushing all the buttons.
My pleasure.
Any last words you want to throw in there? No? Shaking your head? Thank you for joining the City of St. Albans official podcast from the desk of Mayor James. And we do hope this inside look at our city's government and upcoming events have helped you feel more engaged with your community. We do appreciate your support of our efforts to make St. Albans a thriving community for all. And be sure to subscribe, like, and share our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and social media. And you can find our podcast on stalbanswv.com/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you out and about in St. Albans.